Powered by Riverside.
Welcome back once again. It is the A Train Sports Talk video stream and podcast. And we're coming to you once again. And no, I do not have the scoreboard show. However, I know the season kicked off last night. Two teams I know for sure are on a collision course next Friday night. We're talking about Wichita East and Wichita Northwest, a game that could decide the G-Wall. We also know Capon also went into Andover, came away with a victory. And the game that everybody said was the game of the week took place down in Derby. Some called it an upset. I'm pretty sure Coach Crow wouldn't call it that because I'm pretty sure he said that they expected to come in and do more than just walk away with a moral victory. So I'm pretty sure he would say they were not surprised by the outcome. All they're doing is riding the momentum from playing in the state championship game from a year ago. Brandon Clark, however, I'm pretty sure he's going to use this as fuel for the rest of the season. Because trust me, you never can count out a Derby team. Yeah, they took it on the chin last night, a 1-point loss, but there's more to the season to go. All I can say is whoever Derby's next opponent is, I wouldn't want to be them. That much I do know. As far as Andale just did what Andale does. And I already know a lot of people are going to say, that doesn't make any sense. Some are going to holler about, where's the sportsmanship at? I'm pretty sure they put their JV team in and nothing could be stopped. All I can say is, it is what it is. I don't think their coach deliberately sets out to embarrass teams. Some things just happen. Anyone that has followed Andale over the years know that that's what Andale does. Their starters probably only played, and I don't have anything to back this up unless someone tells me that may be watching this and maybe listening to the podcast that's going to go up later on. But I'm pretty sure they don't set out to go out and just embarrass people. These things just happen like this. I know some people going to say it's a lack of sportsmanship. You ran up the score. Why didn't you call off the dogs? I'm pretty sure JV players got in the game. What do you tell them to do? You're at the goal line. Do you tell them to just take a knee? I don't know. But I know right now there's probably a lot of people clamoring, asking where is the sportsmanship at in that? How do you beat a team 104-0? Hopefully one of these days I can get Coach Dylan Schmidt on here. But as far as the outlook for 3A, it's going to take an act of Congress and the military, I believe, to stop Andale from going back to back and undefeated. That's all I can say on that. What I do want to do is, like I said, I was going to have a scoreboard show. I don't have that. But there are some players, and I know the season started last night, but I am going to give you some players to look at, to be on the watch out for. Because some say Kansas is not a hotbed and recruiters aren't coming here. But I know for a fact, even here in the Wichita area, there are some players that hold offers from Division I schools. So something tells me Kansas is on the radar. We're not Oklahoma, we're not Texas, but I believe we have some dogs that can hold their own. Yes, I said dogs because I've heard coaches refer to their players as dogs. That's not a bad terminology. That's just endearment. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some players to be on the watch out for. We're one game into the season. I promise you I will have the scoreboard show next week. But I want to give some love to individuals. Starting out first with Farrell Adams, Wichita East. And I want to say once again, this is from the Acacia website. And this is the story is saying Acacia covered staff. So kudos to the staff at Acacia. You guys do a wonderful job. I appreciate you having this information available for me to use here. I can't say thank you enough. It's what fuels my show. I also want to send a shout out to Vite Magazine. They give me some content as well too. I'm forever indebted to them. The Chadwicks on that staff. There's some others I can't think of his name, but I run into his sister at Planet Fitness, and she tells me you ought to see their banter back and forth. But anyway, let's start off with Farrell Adams. Adams has been a disruptive force for East defense the past 2 seasons, recording 37 tackles behind the line of scrimmage and 6 sacks among his 210 career tackles. A 5'10", 210-pound linebacker, and is committed to Tennessee State. Adams helped the Blue Aces post 3 shutouts in last year's 7-4 campaign and yielded 11.2 points in East's first 10 games before a 63-28 season-ending loss to Derby. Adams, who finished 2024 with 100 tackles and 19 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a sack, earned all Class 6A first-team honors last fall and was a repeat selection on the All-Greater Wichita Athletic League first team. So we say kudos to him. Next up, Jackson Becker Lawrence. Becker emerged as one of the Sunflower League's top receivers last season and was a favorite target of quarterback Banks Bowen. As a junior, Becker had 55 catches for 731 yards, 7 touchdowns in 2024, which earned him first-team All-Sunflower League honors and was an honorable mention All-State selection. He will be one of the leaders for a Lion offense that will replace its starting quarterback with the departure of Bowen. How about Aaron Bohannon, Deuce as they call him, Wichita East? Bohannon, a senior, increased his production in his first season with the Blue Aces after 2 solid campaigns at Wichita Northwest. I believe that's also part of how that rivalry has gotten intense. The 5'8", 180-pound Bohannon ran for a career-high 1,658 yards, pushing his career totals to 3,278 yards, and scored 22 touchdowns as East finished 7-4. Bohannon averaged more than 11 yards per carry for the second straight season, gaining his yardage last fall on 139 attempts. He enters his final season with 48 career rushing touchdowns. Bohannon, a 2-time second-team All-Great, two-time second team. With those numbers, and he's second team, that goes to show you there is some talent in the G-Wall alone. Anyway, a 2-time second-team All-Greater Wichita Athletic League selection who earned all Class 6A honorable mention last year should provide first-year starting quarterback Prince Marshall with security in the Aces offense. L.J. Bowens, Blue Valley Northwest. Bowens was a big part of a Blue Valley Northwest offense that finished 7-4 last season and made it to the sectional playoffs before getting knocked out by eventual state champ Gardner Edgerton. In his junior season, Bowens carried the ball 118 times for 1,177 yards and 11 touchdowns, which earned him second team All-Eastern Kansas League honors. He was also an honorable mention All-State selection. This season, the Huskies returned 5 starters on each side of the ball as they try for a 6th straight winning season. Don't see no reason why it won't happen. Houston Bowling, Derby. Bowling found a home on Derby's interior defensive line as an injury replacement as a sophomore and flourished last season as a junior, shifting from the nose tackle to a weak side spot in the Panthers' 3-man front. The 6'1", 280-pound Bowling could return to the middle this fall after recording 37 tackles, 10 for loss, and a sack in Derby's 11-1 season that ended in the Class 6A semifinals. One of 3 returning starters on the Panthers' defense, Bowling earned all Ark Valley Chisholm Trail 1 first-team honors and all 6A honorable mention a year ago. Drake DeBond, Shawnee Mission South. The Raiders struggled in a highly competitive Sunflower League, but among the challenges, one player emerged as a bright spot, and that was DeBond, a 2-year starter for South. DeBond looks to build on what was a memorable performance for him personally. The Raiders tight end had 34 receptions, 400 yards, and 5 touchdowns last season, which earned him first-team All-Sunflower League honors. The Raiders look to build off their 1-7 season as they return 10 starters from a year ago, including 6 on offense. J.J. Dunnigan, Manhattan, perhaps the most versatile player in the state and one of the top prospects in the 2026 class. Already having committed to Kansas, Dunnigan helped lead Manhattan back to the Class 6A championship game for the second time in 3 years, with the Indians finishing run-up to Gardner Edgerton. Dunnigan was named All-State Top 11 after starring in all 3 phases of the game. Offensively, he was Manhattan's leading receiver with 556 yards and 5 touchdowns. Defensively, he was a lockdown corner who had a team-high 3 interceptions, 1 pick six, 6 passes defended despite teams not testing this side very often. He ranked 3rd on the team in tackles with 65 and had a team-high 17 tackles in the state championship game. For good measure, Dunnigan was an elite returner, taking back 2 kickoffs and 1 punt return for touchdowns. With the bulk of Manhattan's offensive production having graduated, Dunnigan could take on an even bigger role in the offense this season. Shifting right back here in the Wichita area, Augie Fast, Wichita Northwest, aptly named. Fast settled in quickly as Northwest feature back last season, running for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns in his Grizzlies debut against Bishop Carroll. The Mays transfer went on to run for 1,745 yards and 14 touchdowns and compiled more than 2,100 all-purpose yards as Northwest finished 9-2 with a pair of losses to Class 6A run-up Manhattan. The 6'1", 195-pound Fast features a strong burst of speed that fits well in Northwest's high-tempo offense. A first-team All-Greater Wichita Athletic League selection, who also earned all Class 6A honorable mention. Fast should stay fresh throughout the games, with John Michael Fountain splitting carries. Going up the road here to Derby, Arius Finley. Finley, a junior tailback, will have plenty of experience in front of him with 4 returning starters on Derby's line this season. The 5'8", 170-pound Finley uses shiftiness and quickness to churn out 1,512 yards and 26 touchdowns last season, as the Panthers took an unbeaten record all the way to the Class 6A semifinals before falling to Manhattan. He also had a receiving touchdown and averaged more than 25 yards on 11 kickoffs. Finley earned first-team All-Class 6A and All-Ark Valley Chisholm Trail 1 recognition after helping Derby average 50.8 points per game. Josh Galbraith, Lawrence. Galbraith is back as one of the top returning defensive players in the Sunflower League for new head coach Jason Thorne, who replaced former coach Clint Bowen in the offseason. The Lawrence senior was a force at the linebacker spot for the Lions in 2024 as he registered 85 tackles, including 16 for a loss, 6.5 sacks, and forced 2 fumbles. He also spent some time at receiver where he caught a pair of touchdowns. Galbraith will look to lead the Lions team that finished 4-5 a year ago and is a University of Kansas commit. Here we are back in Wichita. Hope I get this name right. Keontae Henderson, Wichita East. Henderson, a senior, begins his second season at East as the anchor of a defensive line that has lots of potential. A transfer from, here we go again, Wichita Northwest. After earning all-league honorable mention 2 seasons ago, Henderson wreaked havoc on opposing quarterbacks with 6 sacks and forced 4 fumbles last fall. He helped the Blue Aces post 3 shutouts while holding 2 other teams to a single score. He'll team with senior DJ Ngasa and junior Malachi Jones to defend up front this season. Henderson earned first-team All-Greater Wichita Athletic League honors to go with All-Class 6A honorable mention a year ago. Staying right here in the Wichita area, Rayshawn Johnson, Wichita South. Johnson played a key role in helping South win 6 games in the season for the first time in 30 years and snap a 24-game losing streak to perennial Greater Wichita Athletic League contender Bishop Carroll. The 5'9", 155-pound senior quarterback accounted for 21 touchdowns in a variety of ways for the Titans, 11 rushing, 2 receiving, 2 passing, and 6 kick returns. Johnson's dual threat ability helped South average 42.5 points in its victories and produced a Week 9 victory over Wichita Heights. Also a defensive back, Johnson was a first-team All-League selection at returner and second-team quarterback, and also was first-team All-Class 6A selection as a returner. Staying at Wichita South, Jaden Kirk McGowan, Wichita South. While classmate Rayshawn Henderson offers South plug-and-play versatility at multiple spots, Kirk McGowan emerged as a steadying force for the Titans' ground attack last season. The 5'9", 210-pound, wow, would hate to have to go up against him. 5'9", 210-pound senior led South with 1,390 yards and 13 touchdowns last fall, helping the Titans post their first winning season since 2015 and most victories since 1994. Kirk McGowan helped South win its first 4 league games last season, highlighted by a 318-yard, 3-touchdown effort in a victory over Wichita Heights. He was a first-team All-Greater Wichita Athletic League choice and All-Class 6A honorable mention. Staying in Wichita, Jalen Mason, Wichita Northwest. The table is set for a big senior season for Mason, who enters his 3rd year as Northwest starting quarterback with an offensive unit that features 9 returning starters. The University of Kansas commit led the Grizzlies to a 9-2 record last fall, completing 107 of 195 passes for 1,977 yards and 24 touchdowns. He added 645 rushing yards and 9 scores on the ground to earn first-team All-Greater Wichita Athletic League honors and All-Class 6A honorable mention. Mason passed for 1,205 yards and 16 touchdowns as a sophomore to earn All-League honorable mention. Lawrence McGraw, Blue Valley West. A 3-year starter for the Jaguars, McGraw has been a standout on both sides of the ball, helping lead his team to a 10-2 record in 2024 and a trip to the state semifinals. Defensively, McGraw made things difficult for opposing offenses. As the team's starting outside linebacker, he finished the season with 42 tackles, including 5 for a loss, and made a significant impact with 3 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles. That performance earned him a spot on the All Eastern Kansas League second team as a tight end. He hauled in 10 catches for 162 yards and 3 touchdowns. McGraw, a Kansas State commit and the son of K-State great John McGraw, is just one of 5 returning starters for West. Evan Middleton, Manhattan. Middleton moved into a starting spot on the defensive line last year as a junior after seeing action in just 2 games as a sophomore, and immediately became a disruptive force for the Indians. He finished the season with 42 tackles, including 9 for loss and 5 sacks. Middleton recovered a fumble and even picked off a pass from his defensive tackle spot, earning first-team All-Centennial League honors. He helped the Indians to a 12-1 record and a run-up finish to Class 6A, and will be an anchor for a defensive front that must replace every other starter from a year ago. Sire Padilla, Gardner Edgerton. Padilla delivered a memorable performance in the Class 6A state title game and played a big role in the Blazers' second consecutive state title with 24 carries for 180 yards. He was a vital part of Gardner Edgerton's dominant offense, showing why he is one of the top backs in the state. Padilla's 180-yard game in the state championship was only one chapter in a historic season. Over the course of the 2024 campaign, he amassed a staggering 1,705 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns. The Pittsburgh State commit also averaged 7.3 yards per carry, which helped him earn second-team All-Sunflower League and first-team All-Class 6A honors. Jet Price, Garden City. The 6'3", 230-pound tight end linebacker joins the Buffaloes from Plainview High School in Ardmore, Oklahoma, as his father, Joe Price, enters his first year as Garden City head coach. Jet, a senior, will be an immediate impact player as a two-way starter. He helped Plainview go 8-3 last year. Price will provide leadership for a Buffalo squad that returns just 3 starters on offense and 5 on defense. Garden City went 2-7 last year in his final season under Brian Hill, who went 79-65 in 15 seasons as Buffalo's coach. Jake Reeves, Shawnee Mission East. The dual-threat quarterback has been a key figure for the Lancers since he first took the helm. And heading into his final season, he's poised to make it another successful one in 2025. Reeves was a bright spot for Shawnee Mission East as he helped the Lancers to a 5-5 record before falling to eventual state champion Gardner Edgerton. In 2024, Reeves accumulated nearly 1,100 yards rushing and found the end zone 14 times on the ground. Through the air, Reeves was just as effective, throwing for nearly 700 yards and adding 8 touchdowns. His all-around impact earned him honorable mention All-Sunflower League recognition. He also made an impact on special teams as he was selected to the All-League third team as a punter. Going back up the road here to Derby, Max Robinson. Robinson, a mountainous left tackle, earned a starting spot in his freshman year and hasn't looked back. Now entering his senior season, the 6'4", 275-pound Robinson leads a unit that will continue to pave the way for shifty tailback Arias Finley, who ran for 1,512 yards and 26 touchdowns last season. Robinson, the first-team All-Class 6A and All-Ark Valley Chisholm Trail 1 selection a year ago, provided backside protection for a group of Derby quarterbacks who completed nearly 70% of their attempts last season for 1,825 yards and 29 touchdowns. Of course, we got to give the kicker some love. Trace Rudd, Blue Valley Northwest. Rudd emerged as one of the top kickers in the state last season for the Huskies. In 2024, he converted 44 of 47 extra point attempts and converted 5 of 7 field goal attempts with a long of 49. Those numbers earned him first-team All-Eastern Kansas League honors after helping the Huskies to a sectional playoff and a 7-4 record. He was also an honorable mention All-State selection. Now a senior, Rudd gives the Huskies a big edge in the kicking department and is committed to the University of Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner. Junction City's Jamarcus Tyson. A started linebacker as a sophomore. He made 31 tackles. Tyson finished last season at Junction City's second leading tackler with 66 stops, half of them solo. He had 5 tackles for loss and picked off a pass on his way to earning first team All Centennial League honors. Tyson also got involved on the offensive side of the ball and averaged 5.4 yards per carry on just 29 rushes, finishing with 157 yards and 4 touchdowns. His TD total ranking second on the team. Tyson is one of 6 returning starters on defense, but the lone returner from the linebacking corps. Garrison Vikander, Manhattan. Leaning on the guys he trusted the most last year, Manhattan coach Joe Schwartz employed more two-way starters than he ever had in his coaching career, and Vikander was one of those guys. He was part of an offensive line that helped Manhattan roll up 410.9 yards and 42.8 points per game as the Indians went 12-1, with the lone loss coming to Class 6A state championship game against Gardner Edgerton. On defense, Vikander lined up as a hybrid end linebacker and ranked second on the team with 11.5 tackles for loss. He had 2.5 sacks and 6 quarterback hurries. Vikander earned first team All Centennial League honors on the offense and was second team pick on defense. D'Angelo Williams, Wichita Northwest. The 6'5", 270-pound Williams committed to South Dakota in June and enters his senior season as part of a highly experienced offensive unit. Williams, an offensive tackle, helped the Grizzlies churn out nearly 450 yards of total offense per game in a 9-2 season a year ago. One of 4 returning starters on the line and one of 9 who were back from 2024 offensive unit. Williams received first-team All-Greater Wichita Athletic League honors last fall after earning All-League honorable mention as a sophomore. He also landed All Class 6A honorable mention last season. And finally, we end this, and this is all 6A players to watch. And I'm going to give you a programming note. What I'm going to do is each day next week, starting Monday, I will go through the list. Monday, we will pick back up with 5A. We're going to close out 6A right here with Braden Williams, Free State, a 6'8", 290 pounds. Williams is an imposing figure on the field, and his impact goes far beyond his size. The 3-year starter at left tackle is not only one of the top offensive linemen in Kansas, but one of the top overall players in the state, and his leadership will be key to Free State's success this season. Williams, who has committed to Clemson, was a first-team All-Sunflower League selection in 2024 and helped the Freebirds. If I can pull that back. There we go. Here we go. And helped the Freebirds, the Firebirds, let me get that right, to a 6-2 record last season before falling to Blue Valley Northwest in the regional playoffs. So those are some players to watch for in Class 6A. Like I said, I will be back Monday, and we will run through the list of players in 5A to keep an eye on. I'm pretty sure as the season started Friday night, some of these players listed, they made an impact. But until the next time, I need you to know that this show is
powered by Riverside FM.
That's right, powered by Riverside FM, streaming also on twitch.tv and also on YouTube. And the show will be podcasted. You can check out the podcast. It will be on Spotify, iHeart. If you have the Odyssey app, you can pick it up on Odyssey, Amazon Music, or you can search in your search engine, whether it be on iPhone or Google. It will be the A Train Sports Talk. Until the next time, take care of yourself and each other. As always, it's a pleasure having you on with our now